Yeah, it's hard to know what to deal with the opening chapters. You have all of these numbers and where it gets the name from. If we think about it as the roll call of God's people, that maybe adds a little bit of the dramatic weight to it. How we want to be enrolled in the membership of the church, of the people of God. But if you realize what's happening, the opening chapters, the outer 12 tribes are being established as God's people, and then chapters 3 and 4, the Levitical and the priestly mediation between God's people and God's house, then at least you know where it's going, that it's coming. And really, the climactic point there is number 6 with the priestly blessing, which is fascinating because the high priest does bless God's people in Leviticus 9, but we're not given the script. In the construction of the Pentateuch, that great blessing, the priestly blessing, is withheld until we get the creation of the covenant community. And that's really, again, what the book is reiterating. God's people are blessed. And so when you get to the middle part of the book of Numbers, the people are rebellious constantly. They endure God's judgments. And we tend to get a pessimistic view like people do of the church today. But fascinatingly, one of the highest theological statements about God's people as a covenant community comes later on through, of all people, a pagan diviner, Balaam, who, when the Spirit comes upon him, he looks at the camp of Israel in Numbers 24, and he describes it as paradise. And he's got this longing, that I were a part of the people of God. And I think that's a message the church needs today, that although the church is marginalized and mocked and persecuted, and God's people can be tempted to be established like the nations and to not always be suffering, through the Spirit of God, through Balaam's eyes, we can look at God's people and say, I wouldn't want to be any other place than here, because this is where God is in the midst of his people. And so from beginning to end, in spite of the problems within and the problems without of being the people of God, the message is consistent that because you're God's people, you're beloved by God, and he will bring you into the land. He'll bring us into the glory eventually.